Welcome into another edition of the Horrible Film School as we review 2024's Easter Bloody Easter. This film came out on March 26th, actually, of this year, which is only at the time of this recording about a week and a half old. We had the team that was able to put this film together reach out to us for a review, which is why we are here. Always happy to help support small horror films, but this is going to be an honest opinion. This is not a paid endorsement, so say that up front. The writer of this film is Alison Lobel, who also portrays Mary Lou in this film. On top of that, the director, the big piece of this film, because she's the director, producer, and lead role, Diane Foster. This is her directorial debut, and a director's note on the concept of what she's trying to portray through this film is it's supposed to be a quirky murder mystery and a true horror comedy. Her words, not mine. Some behind the scenes stuff here. Before we jump into that, however, during the watching this film, a film right here that's all about Easter, the question is not did I eat Reese Easter eggs? It's how many, because let's just admit it, folks. They're the best version. So much better than the trees. So the creators of Easter Bloody Easter have stated that they hope this film is a seasonal tradition in the likes of Krampus at Christmas. The Krampus horror film from about a decade ago now was fantastic. Or also perhaps Leprechaun, which we cover on the show a lot. And those are some high watermarks that I will get into later, but this film does not even come close to. And on top of that, they would like for you to think that there's not another Easter Bunny horror movie out there. However, there is. In 2021, a film entitled Easter Bunny Massacre was released. Straight to DVD. I have not personally seen it, but the idea that this is an original idea based around the Easter Bunny is not in fact correct. This film is set in Texas, and for those Texas dust scenes, they were shot on surrounding LA ranches to make the film feel like it was perhaps in the Lone Star State. And throughout the film, I kind of kept thinking, man, this looks like the set of Leprechaun, that dust bowl that the first film was able to kind of project. However, just the dialogue is not quite as good as the first Leprechaun. I'll just put it at that. The iconic demon bunnies that appear in this film are from Raptor House FX, who are more recently known for creating The Hand from Netflix's very popular television show Wednesday. And a piece of that, Raptor House, fantastic. The bunnies look really, really well made for the budget of this film. This is a very small budget film. However, a bit of a bone to pick would be that some CGI, and I would say a large majority of CGI, was used in blood effects. Maybe not so much blood just sitting on skin, but blood squirting or pouring or blood actually doing any kind of an action is CGI. And it just comes across as cheap. And if Tom Savini has taught us anything, it's just not that hard to come up with blood effects. Furthermore, the actual killer bunny jackalope creature, what it actually is, ebbs and flows throughout the film. It's clearly just a person in a costume, which is fine. We've seen that in the past. It's just that the costume itself doesn't look great. Again, small budget. I hate to say it, but again, this is an honest opinion, and that is my honest review. The hands look extremely just long and rubbery, like they have no real mobilization. And to that, there's things you can hide in darkness that we all know watching horror films. This film, the final act, where you see the bunny the jackalope the most, is in broad daylight for 20 minutes. Bright daylight. There's full frames of this bunny costume. And I wish they could have just hit him in the bushes or the trees or wherever to hide some of that. In conclusion of the behind the scenes notes here, the soundtrack is something I have to bring up. The soundtrack is fantastic. And if anyone knows this show and our history, that's usually not my role. The soundtrack is usually forgettable to me. But for this low-budget horror film, they did a really good job on a score. And if you have small children, go to Spotify. There's a song called The Bunny Hop, and it may be the new Baby Shark song to play to your kids to brainwash them. So I'm going to go through a quick spoiler-free story beats here. I'm trying to not ruin the film for anybody who wants to watch it. This film is on VOD on all platforms that I'm aware of. So just a quick synopsis here. The film is set in Wahlberg, a small Texas town that experiences a series of violent, bloody murders, which has scared the locals for the upcoming Easter Palooza, which apparently is a big deal in this small little town. The mayor refuses to cancel the festivities and argues that the famous egg hunt only happens once a year. This, as I'm sure you all just thought to yourselves, gives you tropey Jaws vibes, which is fine. I mean, anything connected to a Jaws film. At least the first one. Good job by you. Jeannie, our lead role here, played by Diane Foster, wakes to find her husband missing and his wrecked car covered in blood and fur. Jeannie and her best friend Carol discover the legend of the killer jackalope that ravaged their town about 150 years ago. Much like a werewolf, the jackalope is a shape-shifter, human one moment and giant horned rabbit the next. It's up to Jeannie and Carol to follow the bunny tracks and uncover the fluffy truth. After encountering the jackalope's demon bunny army, the ladies team up with Megan, a professional bunny slayer, to hunt for the creature's true identity. This Megan character, I think, was supposed to be in the likes of Ripley from the Aliens franchise. She's not in the movie. Well, that's a spoiler. Okay, going to keep it to myself. You can find out about Megan from watching the film. So, as I spoke to earlier, Jeannie is played by Diane Foster, Carol is played by Kelly Grant, and Megan is played by Zuri Starks. And the last person, Zuri Starks, appeared recently in the film Rustin, in which an Academy Award nomination was given to Coleman Domingo. Great actor. So despite the present danger to the town, the self-righteous head of the church committee, Mary Lou, and her faithful church ladies insist on helping the mayor put on the Good Friday fish fry. Nothing like a Good Friday fish fry. You know what I'm saying? The bunny hop dance occurs next, and the Easter bunny costume contest, of course. The jackalope and his evil minions arrive to attack the events and create chaos and a mounting death toll. In this scene, there are a lot of actually pretty good death scenes for this film that are pretty funny, and this might be my favorite section of the film, for sure. One last person to call out here, Mary Lou is played by Allison LaBelle, who also wrote this film, and she may be my favorite part of this film. She knows her role, she knows her character's reasoning, and she's swinging for the fences with this one, so good job by her. So this film ends, again, without trying to spoil anything, and armed with different gadgets, these unlikely town residents band together to find Jeannie's husband, solve this mystery, and stop the jackalope once and for all. Again, I've already kind of given away that final act, all in daylight. Wish it could have been in darkness. So, in conclusion, my review of this film, Easter, Bloody Easter from 2024, is that, again, I don't want to be rude. It's good for what it is. It's a low-budget Easter holiday film that has certain pieces of it that I enjoyed, and a lot of pieces that simply don't make sense, seem kind of thrown together, mashed together, that make the story in parts very confusing on what is actually going on. However, could this be a film that you watch every year around Easter if you're a die-hard horror fan like we are? Sure. Nothing wrong with that. Perfectly good film for popping on once a year, celebrating the Easter holiday with friends and family, and just enjoying a B-movie horror film. And with that, if you like this film, if you like this review, like this video, subscribe to the page. We're going to start doing more of these over time. Also, I think there will be a link in the bottom as well, at least I know there will be, of the merch store and a link to our podcast on other platforms such as Spotify and Apple Play. And with that, this concludes the review of Easter Bloody Easter. Go out there, get it on VOD if you want to. Watch it. It's up to you. And with that, class is dismissed.